Happy New Year. I hope you had a great start into the new year, and I'm going to try and make it a little bit better as well by sharing 8 niches with you that are going to see an increase in sales during the month of February. We all know that January is one of the slowest months of the year, but in February things definitely start to pick up a bit again, and there's some good niches to try and target and design for right now. Niche number 1 is definitely one of the bigger trends when it comes to the beginning of the year, and that is 100 days of school. This is generally celebrated during the month of February, and obviously there's going to be a lot of sales aimed towards children. We can see that represented in the color schemes. There's loads of sort of rainbow colors, many vibrant colors in the same design essentially is what works really well for children. And if we look at sort of cross-niching ideas, what definitely comes up a lot is, first of all, hobbies like gaming related stuff. We get a lot of animals. We've got unicorns here, dinosaurs, sports. We've got baseball, football right here. So definitely a lot of possibilities of how to enter this niche and try and target like kids with different hobbies, target girls or boys specifically, and you could probably also target teachers. There's also something here that says 3rd grade. So once again, you could create one design template and then aim it at multiple grades at the same time. That's always really useful to do. And yeah, overall have fun with this niche. I mean, these designs definitely look really fun to create. At the moment, the BSRs are terrible, but don't let that put you off because no one wants to buy these shirts right now. When it's the end of the year is when I'm recording this, it is going to take a little while until these pick up closer to the month of February, and especially during the month of February when everyone wants to wear one of these shirts. Moving on, this second niche is another big trend during the start of the year, and this is a niche that generally can do really well all year round. But in February specifically, it is Black History Month. As you can see, there's already lots of t-shirts with that sort of keyword in the listing that are doing really well, and they're mainly, or well, at least the best sellers are mainly aimed at women. That's not the only way you can approach this niche, but that's definitely worth bearing in mind. One thing I wanted to point out is this design right here, which says vegan on it, so that may be an interesting sub niche or an interesting way of how to approach this and target a more specific audience. But yeah, overall Black History Month is definitely a powerful niche to get into on all marketplaces, because not only is it Black History Month in the US in February, but in the UK it is later during the year. So if you get some designs to sell, you should then probably see some more sales later on that year. I think in Canada it might also be a different month. I'm not 100% certain, but I definitely noticed that some of my sort of Black Lives Matter or equality designs pick up some sales again during the end of the year as well. So definitely worth entering. I do think this design is also interesting right here, which says Black Educators Matter, which is a very good idea for a scalable design. I've never thought of that. You could very easily replace the word educators with other job titles if you wanted to. And yeah, so interesting niche. Definitely going to see a lot of sales during February, and it is already doing pretty well considering it's still quite a while off. Niche number 3 is kindness, and that's because it is Random Act of Kindness Day on the 17th of February, and sort of be kind or kindness shirts can do well once again all year round. They're also related to a niche called anti-bullying, which is definitely worth sort of including in your listing. And as you can see, there's lots of different design styles. There's also some autism ones popping up right here with that puzzle sort of design style. Be kind with flowers. We've got sort of a peace symbol right here. So lots of different ways of how to approach this. Probably going to see a bit of an increase of sales during February if there is specific sort of designated holiday for kindness. And yeah, I would definitely recommend entering it. I've made sales in this niche before. There's definitely some interesting ways to cross niche it and apply it to different topics, and well, try and get more sales easily that way. So do take a look at this niche. There's quite a few elephants popping up as well. That's definitely always an animal that gets associated with kindness, but as you can see, we've got otters here. This design style is really cool actually. I do like that font and the sort of space like design style. So maybe also use that style as inspiration for other topics, other niches, because it definitely stands out and is doing pretty well in this niche in terms of BSR. So have fun with this niche, and I hope it can get you some sales during February. Niche number 4 is Mardi Gras, and that is some sort of carnival celebration that's going to go on from the 21st of February, and I think it lasts for a few days. I'm not 100% sure, but there's already some t-shirts doing pretty well in this niche, which is surprising. So 200k BSRs right here, and there's a very sort of common color scheme, unified color scheme for this niche or for the celebration of purple, yellow in green. So that's definitely something that you would want to use in your designs if you want to enter this niche. There'll be a lot of people drinking, so you can see an alcohol related design right here. So that's definitely a route to go down. Just be careful and don't check the youth checkbox for sizing, because that would get you rejection. Here's the counterpart, by the way. It's sort of a couples matching or friends matching outfit, which is pretty cool. And any other examples? I mean, there's lots of these crawfish right here that are featuring in the design, so I'm guessing that is sort of a symbol of that carnival or the area where it's in, and is worth also considering for your designs. We've got Bigfoot cross-niched with it and holding a beer, so you can always approach this in funny different ways that make your designs stand out. Mardi Gras cruise, that's really interesting. So yeah, just try and be creative. There's some good examples here. If I was you, if I wanted to enter this niche, then I'd just go onto Google, look through some photos, sort of get an idea of what the festival is like or the carnival, and just see what people are doing, what people are wearing, and try and get inspiration that way, as well as obviously scrolling through a research tool and getting more inspiration and ideas for keywords, design styles, etc. on these as well. So I hope you have fun with this niche, and yeah, let's move on to niche number 5. So niche number 5 is one that you probably already expected, but I have to go over it because Valentine's Day is probably the most popular niche during February or leading up to February, and it's going to see a lot of sales. So I didn't, for some reason, get many results back in PODCS and Flying Research for this niche, so that's why I moved on to Merch Informer, and there's actually some good suggestions or sort of t-shirts right here that I wanted to go over with you. So Valentine's Day, there's a few different words to spell it, so you might get different results depending on whether you include that apostrophe or Valentine. Some people might put St. Valentine Day and just misspell it. You can see in some of these listings like Valentine Teacher right here. So there's definitely a few variations of the word which might help you in your listing. You can see some related keywords right here with the search volume associated with it as well, which is quite interesting. We've got Valentine's Days for kids. That's probably something that most people would sort of ignore or not even consider, because you think of adults, well, who are in relationships, but people also search for kids t-shirts for Valentine's Day, right? So definitely don't ignore that. First Valentine's Day, that's an interesting keyword to possibly include to get some more traction. And yeah, so generally, what do we see? Lots of different ways to approach this niche, and you definitely don't want to create a t-shirt that just says Happy Valentine's Day. That's pointless. No one's going to want to buy it. But if you scroll through, we see llama cross-niched with Valentine's Day. My son is my Valentine. There we go. So we've got a t-shirt aimed for a single mum, maybe. Then we've got a dog right here, dressed up with lots of hearts and that sort of stuff. So you could cross animals with Valentine's Day because people really love their pets. There's some more ideas here. I love this one with the elephant, and I've done this before, where you just use the silhouette of something, whether it's an animal, an object, a sports element, a vehicle, it doesn't matter. Just fill that element with hearts. It can work really well. Yes, it takes a while to fill out a shape with hearts, but it can get you some sales, and not as many people would do that compared to, just simple text-based designs. Anyone can do a simple text-based design, but not everyone can do this with the silhouette. So definitely a route to try and go down. Here's another one with a flamingo. V is for vodka. So this design template is definitely a good idea. You could Google and search for hobbies starting with V, or food starting with V, job titles starting with V, different ideas that you could place there rather than Valentine. Vodka is definitely a good idea. Video games is a very popular design style, which is probably got too much competition, but if you find some new ideas in terms of hobbies and food and drink, you might have a possibility there of getting sales. And yeah, as you can tell, golf is my Valentine. You can cross it with hobbies. There is endless possibilities, and sometimes in these sort of high competition niches, the more specific you get, the better, because then you narrow down your competition and your audience or target group and just make it easy to get sales. Trust me, you don't want to go broad and target everyone by saying just Happy Valentine's Day and putting a hat on a t-shirt. That is definitely not going to get you any sales. Most definitely. I mean, you might get lucky, but it's very unlikely. And just a quick tip, if you do want to enter this niche, which I definitely think you should, then to help you out, I actually found a really nice graphics bundle that I would use personally to enter the Valentine's Day niche, and I've linked it in the description. It's from Creative fabric here. It has some nice animal graphics, and you could just add some sentences to those graphics, and that way create some really nice t-shirts. So check that out if you're entering this niche, and let's carry on. Moving back to PODCS, the next niche I've got for you is football. And this one, in this case I mean American football by the way, but this one is going to be trending in February specifically because on the 12th of February it is Super Bowl Sunday, as far as I'm aware. And that means there's going to be a lot more people wanting to wear football related t-shirts now. You have to be careful here. You can't use or you can create designs that are similar to a football team that's going to be playing in the Super Bowl. That's definitely going to get into trouble. It commonly gets people into trouble with merch by Amazon, like these black and gold ones. I'm pretty sure that's alluding to a certain team, and I've seen that design style being removed multiple times in the past. Purple and gold, that's the same thing. Green Bay football, probably also infringing on some football teams' intellectual property. So what you want to do is create generic football themed designs. Like school is important, but fantasy football is important too. That would be fine. And fantasy football is another keyword there, which is definitely worth considering because a lot of people are also really into that, and that niche is also going to see an increase in sales at the same time. So definitely do take a look at this football niche. You're going to see a lot of extra sales. Don't get confused with all of the the European football designs, which are trending at the moment or doing pretty well due to the World Cup. I do mean American football in terms of the niche for February. For niche number 7, we've got Groundhog Day, which is happening on the 2nd of February. This niche, you might get confused here because if you type Groundhog Day into Google, it comes up with a movie, but the tradition of Groundhog Day existed before the movie. So since it's like a national tradition for America and Canada, I don't think it's a problem that there's also a movie with that same name. In this case, Groundhog designs are obviously going to see an increase in sales because that's the animal associated with that day. You can see that here from last year, there's still some designs remaining because it was a really cool date. It's the 2nd, 22. That probably won't work this year if you just slap the date onto a Groundhog design. I mean, it might, but it doesn't have that nice ring to it now when it says 23 at the end. But nevertheless, lots of cool Groundhog designs. I mean, they're fairly easy to create, which is good because lots of them are vintage sunset. And then if you just have a graphic or even just a silhouette of a groundhog to overlay onto the vintage sunset, that's definitely going to be an easy and quick design to create. I do like this style right here as well, this sort of retro almost like a music vibe as well to it. Looks really good. So overall, just do put up some Groundhog designs if you want to. I could definitely see it getting some extra sales during the beginning of February. Probably won't be trending as much as some of the other niches that I've mentioned, like football, Valentine's Day, but it might be one of those smaller trends that not as many people recognize or enter, and therefore there's not as much competition. And niche number 8 is heart disease awareness, because it is Heart Disease Awareness Month. You guessed it, during the month of February. And that means this niche is definitely going to see an increase in sales. Awareness topics often get quite a lot of t-shirt sales, breast cancer awareness especially. That did really well towards the end of last year. This one maybe won't do as well, but still worth considering. The color scheme for this niche, very obviously, is red. Some people have also uploaded to red t-shirts to mix it up a bit. Very good idea. Saved by Jesus and an amazing heart. So good way to combine religion with this awareness topic. Definitely worth having a look into. Then we get the typical sort of messy hairbun designs. We get American flag, cross niching. We've got heart filled with hearts. That's pretty cool. And yeah, so I wear red for my dad. So you could aim it at specific family members if you wanted to. That's always a good idea. A rainbow design, very, very powerful. Definitely worth considering rainbow designs for these sorts of niches. They always work really well for awareness topics. And there we go. I think you get the idea. This is definitely going to see some extra sales during February and is a niche worth considering. If you want to be more successful with your print-on-demand business in 2023, then nothing's going to help you out more than watching this video next, where I share 22 of my most valuable lessons with you about print-on-demand.